More Jane Carroll now on 1360 KUIK, the voice of Washington County.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's that time of the week when we go to the Cascade Policy Institute and talk to one of their brilliant people about some of the analysis and research that they do on a regular basis, so that we can tackle these issues and be better informed with trusted professional information. It's always invaluable to us. Let's go to Lydia White and welcome her back. She's going to talk about green energy policies. May not be as bright of a attractive package as they've laid out to be. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's good. All right, let's talk about this, because it always seems like all we hear about is the wondrous and perfection of green energy, etc. And maybe not. It may not be all that it's cracked up to be. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's right. So the main topic that I'm going to cover today is the solar net metering, which is the system where you have solar panels on your house and you use the energy that your solar panels produce, and then you can sell the excess energy for a credit on your bill, or you can purchase more energy if you use more than what your panels produce. So that sounds great, and it sounds pretty simple, but there are also a bunch of unintended consequences and avoided costs and unseen costs that most people don't really touch up on when they address this.
Okay, give us an example of a few of the unseen costs, and that it's not as quite as green as it seems to be.
So one of the major issues with solar in general is the fact that it's unreliable. So we can't control whether the sun is shining or there's snow outside or it's nighttime. So a significant amount of the time, over 75% of the time, solar panels aren't producing any energy. So in order to combat the spikes of a cloudy day or a rainy day, energy producers need a second source running constantly, which minimizes the environmental benefits by 20%. So running two sources of electricity to do the job of one in the case that the supply increases beyond the demand, or vice versa.
Right. So it's not a constant, reliable source of energy, so there has to be a backup. And a lot of the things that they want is that would be reliable backups, the same movements they're trying to get rid of. Mm-hmm. Can you store, I know you can't store the wind energy. Can you store the sun energy?
So you can store it, but it's very expensive. And most of the time when you have a solar panel or solar panels, an array of them installed, you don't purchase a battery because it's tens of thousands of dollars more in addition to what the system already costs.
So it's much like a lot of things. Like, remember, ethanol was going to be the cure for everything. We found out not only was it far more expensive, but it was actually caused more pollution than what it was trying to, substitute. And gave tax subsidies to people to grow the corn and do all this stuff, and it ended up being another boondoggle, another form of Solyndra in a different kind of way. So how do people make these choices? If they want to go green, how do they make the best choices, not just listen to the propaganda we hear all the time?
Well, I think the first thing to take into consideration is if you want to have a green renewable energy source, are you willing to cut yourself completely off of the grid? Because there's nothing wrong with solar energy in itself. Solar energy is a great source of electricity, but the problem is when you're connecting to the grid, you're not paying those costs, and then you're also reducing the reliability for other people. So I think if you're really dedicated to being environmentally friendly, you should go 100% of the way so you can avoid those unintended costs.
Okay, so so that's one way, which most people aren't going to opt to for. They need the energy.
Right.
You need most things. So that's going to be tough. And are people that use this, they got to be pretty aware after a relatively short period of time that this is not penciling out economically to be what they'd hoped it would be. Maybe environmentally in this particular source of energy, but not cost-wise.
Right, and I think that's one thing. Many solar users, they don't know how much their systems actually cost other people because they don't see a breakdown of charges for operating and maintenance costs or employee costs or transmission costs. They have a bill, but it's just a lump sum of what they pay or what they were credited previously. So they're kind of unaware that they're actually even incurring all these costs and that they're shifting these costs to other people.
When somebody wants to buy, you produce more energy. It doesn't seem that real probable here in Oregon. So more solar energy than you need. Most people I know that use solar have to subsidize it because there's just not enough sun here. But if you do have extra, how do you sell it? You obviously don't put out, a lemonade stand. How do you sell your extra energy?
Right. So you can send the electricity that you don't use back to the grid, which is pretty common for people with residential solar since they're not home during the day when solar is produced. They're not using that energy. That energy is being sent back to the grid for other people to use. And so for net metering in Oregon, it's not, you don't get money, you don't receive money for the electricity you sell back. You get a credit on a future bill. So say you produce a lot of energy in July because there's a lot of sun, but then February comes around and you don't produce very much because there was rain and snow, then you can pay less on your future bills as a substitute. So
the energy company is really the facilitator of using and reducing and your bills and all that kind of thing. They're the conduit for it.
Right.
So where can people get more information about this, Lydia, so that they can read up and become better informed environmentalists and consumers?
Right. So on our website, we have multiple things published, and we also have our monthly policy picnic tomorrow that I am presenting on this same topic. So if they're interested, they can check out our website and come to a future picnic.
That sounds like great fun. Thank you, Lydia. Always good to have you on.
Thank you.
We'll be back.